Hello class, I wanted to give you a tutorial on AP layers or division tags. Now I've mentioned this before, but I'll come back with a little more about using AP tags and AP division tags, and they call them layers in Dreamweaver. So let's talk about the layout objects again. When you go to Insert Layout Objects, I just have a standard blank HTML file open. When you go to Insert Layout Objects, you're going to see the first three here, the division tag, which is what that's the best thing to use. That enables you to center your layouts and stretch them out, if you want, in terms of a liquid or a fluid layout, and design your pages like that. And then the fluid grid layout, there's a tutorial on that if you haven't watched it already. And then there's the AP div. Now there are these spray options, which we looked at some of those in another tutorial. Those are kind of different from these first three. They do put them under here because they concern layout, like the menu, the interface, but they're not the entire layout of the page, whereas these three deal with the overall layout, not a one specific little area of it. So the AP division tag, if you're going to design with AP, stands for absolute positioning. It's basically a fixed position layout. So if I hit that, I'm going to come up with a little default division tag layer. So what this is a little area, a box, where you can place your elements exactly where you want on the screen. So it has its benefits because you can place things wherever you want on the screen, but the drawback is that it's a fixed position. Usually, it's always going to be on the left side of your screen. So that means your site's going to end up looking kind of odd in larger monitors, and then in smaller ones it also might get cut off part of it on the right hand side. But mainly the larger monitors, you're going to end up with a lot of space out to the right. So these, once you get these in here, they do work kind of like the regular division tags. You can apply backgrounds to and borders, anything you want. Let's check out the code and then we'll customize this a little bit. So the code here, this is actually writing it internally. It has that number sign, hashtag AP division tag. That's just the name of it, so that's the same as you know. And then the position is absolute, so that's the difference here. And then you've got a width and a height, and then you've got some positioning elements for that box on there, exactly on the screen. So it's a left and a top, and that tells you where it's positioned. You can resize this by clicking and dragging. Okay, and then you can apply elements to this, like background, borders, anything you want. If you want to apply to it, I'll just go into my style AP division tag, double click on it. And by default, this is internal style sheet. You could actually make this external when you create actually I think it's in a setting in Dreamweaver, or you can just convert it to an external style sheet. But just for practice, it doesn't matter that it's internal. I go to box here. There's the width and the height. So whenever I change this width and the height, that's the same thing as dragging this, the width or the height of the actual box. If I go to background, you'll see here's where you change background color. Okay, and then that's what that looks like. Let's drop another one in. Let's go Insert, Layout Objects, and AP Div. Now one thing you'll notice is that this is overlapping. It was overlapping. I've got it set so it doesn't. Yours probably will overlap. If you go to AP Elements, yours would probably look like this if you're trying it out, overlapping on top of the other one. That's really not good practice. It's going to eventually cause you some problems with the browser if those two do overlap. Most new browsers will support that, but it's probably better not to overlap, and you really don't need to. I mean, you can do your little tables inside of that if you want, or you can put multiple division tags, one beside each other, or one beside another. So if you don't want these to overlap, all you have to do is click the little box next to CSS styles called AP Elements, and then check Prevent Overlaps. Make sure it's checked for both of them. I think by default it actually checks both of them. Then if you try to move this up somewhere over top of it, it just snaps it right down below, so it's not overlapped. So AP Div 2, if I put in, let's say I put in a border on that, Okay, and then if I do a file preview in browser, you'll see the didn't quite line up for me there. And you'll see the only problem with this layout is what's going to happen is you'll have your monitor here, and this is probably about, this size right here is probably about a 1024 by 768. When you get any larger than that, then you just end up with a great big area out on the right. Now you could do background image or something that helps with the design out to the right hand side, but it is a fixed layout. It's just stuck on that one position on the left side of the screen. So it might work for you. It gives you a little more flexibility in terms of placing elements exactly where you want on the stage. But in my opinion, and I think you'll find most sites when you go out there, using a centered approach and making use of the division tags and the borders and backgrounds works a little better than having these AP division tags that are locked into place, usually on the left hand side of your screen. So that's it for this tutorial on using AP division tags for a layout in Dreamweaver.